Welcome to Math Science History. A quick content note. Some stories in this episode are painful, including maternal death and infant distress. Listener discretion is advised. Please take care. Welcome to Math Science History. I'm Gabrielle Birchak, your host. This month, we are celebrating Women's History Month. And this week, I am celebrating Podcasthon. Podcasthon is a fundraising event for podcasters around the world to raise awareness for charitable causes. This year, I am introducing you to Espwa Means Hope. This very meaningful organization helps women and children in Haiti access healthcare and education. And this is essential because Haiti is currently facing extraordinary instability where hospitals struggle, schools close, and families navigate daily uncertainty. Haiti's current crisis includes severe disruption to healthcare access, particularly for pregnant women and children, as well as widespread interruption of schooling due to violence, displacement, and economic instability. In an October 2025 report, UNICEF notes that due to the increase in violence in Haiti, almost 700,000 children have been displaced, which is twice as many as the year before. Armed groups are infiltrating areas, and as a result, public services are collapsing. UNICEF states that over 6 million people, including 3.3 million children, need humanitarian assistance. And this is not an isolated failure. This is a symptom of long-term systemic erosion. According to UNICEF Executive Director Catherine Russell, she states that, quote, children in Haiti are experiencing violence and displacement at a terrifying scale. Each time they are forced to flee, they not only lose their homes, but also their chance to go to school and simply be children. But amidst all the strife, Haiti has endured. This country's story is also about those who lay foundations. Today, I have the honor of interviewing Angie Maldonado, the founder of Espwa Means Hope. Espwa Means Hope is a 501c3 nonprofit organization based in the USA, working in the beautiful country of Haiti, in a rural, mountainous region with extremely high poverty. Their mission is to empower and keep families together through education, job creation, and maternal health care. Founded in 2018, Espwa has grown from small mobile clinics with basic birth kits to facilitating school sponsorships, providing jobs for 12 Haitian staff, and running a property with an education center and sewing machines. And no doubt, they still have so much more work to do. In Friday's episode this week, I give a historical account about the life of Haiti's first female physician, Dr. Yvonne Sylvain, who fought for maternal care, cancer screening, and modern medical practice in the 20th century. Needless to say, this week encompasses two powerful stories about two women across the span of time who truly understand what happens when health and education hold steady and what happens when they do not. As you listen and watch today's interview, it is important to situate it within this longer history. The challenges discussed are not new. The strategies employed are not accidental. They are responses to structural conditions that have shaped Haiti for centuries. This interview is not about charity as a rescue. It is about repair. It is about restoring the biological and cognitive foundations that allow societies to function. Health stabilizes bodies. Education stabilizes minds. And together they stabilize communities. And with that in mind, I want now to turn to a conversation about what rebuilding looks like today on the ground in Haiti and why it matters not only for Haiti, but for all of us. So, with that being said, let's talk with Angie Maldonado, the founder of Espwa Means Hope. So I have with me here Angie Maldonado with the organization Espwa Means Hope, and it's located in Haiti. And Angie, tell me a little bit about yourself and Espwa Means Hope.
Perfect. Hello. Espwa Means Hope. I always start with that because my passion for that. Espwa in Haitian Creole literally means hope. My name is Angie, my staff call me Angie in Haiti. Let's see. I was born and raised in the military. So military kid, moved around, lived in Germany, and then was in Colorado for a period of time. And then I discovered Haiti. And the first time I stepped foot on the soil, I knew this is Haiti. And there was something in me that just came alive. And that's really how it all began. I have 5 grown children, 5 grown adult children. And man, I feel like I'm all over the place, but really my home feels like Haiti. So yeah. Espwa literally means hope in Creole and Haitian Creole. Their language is called Haitian Creole. And so that's really how it came about. Was I loved the word. I was working in Haiti and that word just did something in my soul. Because hope, as you know, I mean, this word means a lot because there's a lot going on in this world. And that's really what shook me, that just seeing what was happening in Haiti. And then that word, I put those 2 pieces together and thought, okay, here we go. I don't know what it's going to look like, but let's go.
And so Espwa has been in existence since 2018?
Yes.
And from your first visit to the inception of Espwa Means Hope, what did that look like?
So I stepped foot on Haitian soil and I was with a group of people and we were going to different parts of Haiti. And as much as I loved that, because I began working with teams, I started on one trip and then all of a sudden I was leading teams. I was working with interns and training interns working in Haiti. But during that time, I'm very relationship. Everything about me is relationship. I believe it's really important that we connect with people before we even try to speak into people's lives. That's really important to me. And so while in Haiti, we would go to this province and that village and this village. And I just felt like I wanted to shift the focus on how long or short-term missions worked because we need to connect with the people. You can't go into somebody's country and tell them what to do when you don't even know anything about their country and you're not connected with these people. And so I found another village and I started shifting my focus, started changing how things functioned with bringing teams in and how I would train the people when they come in. Okay, let me give you an example. In America, if someone came and saw your children playing in the front yard when they were small, how would you feel if somebody started taking pictures of your children and then posted it on social media?
Not good.
Well, that was my whole point, is that we are all human beings. And that shook me watching that play out. And I had to learn myself. Yes, I have pictures, but we always ask permission. And that's a whole other ballgame right there. But my point is, that was really important to me, that we see people for who they are as human beings. It's really important. And so I started noticing that the healthcare was near non-existent. And if it wasn't easy to get it. And then I was in a village and my father had actually been there as a medic in the war and he had lots of experience. I'm a doula by trade. And so between my father and I, we were noticing things and I had a young man come to me in the middle of the night and say, Angie, please help us. My wife is not well. And I said, what's going on? And she's pregnant. Okay. And we went to their literally, I think this one was a mud and stick hut. We went inside. She was non-responsive. My father started doing vitals and we were able to get her to wake up a little bit, but she still wasn't super responsive. And so I said, and this is really what started Espwa, hey, we need to take her to the hospital. Something's wrong. I don't know. She's 4 months pregnant. And he was so calm and said, no, Angie. And I said, wait, what? And it was just a normal response. And I said, what do you mean? And he said, we don't have money for that. So what I've realized, and I'll get back to that, is that that's just common. If you don't have money, people just die. They didn't have their own money to take her to the hospital. So his decision would have been, if my wife dies, she dies. They don't even really, they live in survival mode, so they don't think about it. He just said no. And I thought, that's crazy to me. And so we knew we needed to take care of this. We took her. She had what's called peritonitis, just a simple abdominal infection, 2 antibiotic shots, and $30 later that we paid for, we took her and she got to see her baby on sonogram. It was a very old sonogram, but she could still see. She got to hear heartbeats. She'd never even had exposure to any of this because her babies were born at their home in the dirt. I mean, that's just the stark reality. So we got her back, and 5 months later, she had a baby girl and named her Tianjie, which means little Angie. And she's now 6 years old. And I am her, I sponsor her to go to school. So I pay for her to get an education and get nutrition, because without that, there's no future.
Wow, what a story. And what an honor to have this little one named after you. That had to be quite an experience. So at that point, obviously, the problem was helping women, pregnant women, and women having children. But what other problems did Espwa Means Hope start out trying to solve specifically?
Basically, it was maternal mortality and infant morbidity rates, because they're so high. And I'll be frank with you, I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to start a nonprofit. I wanted just to be what I call in the dirt with the people, be in the village, go through the village, sit on people's porches, go to their little mud and stick homes, and they bring a bucket that they use to draw water, and they sit you on that bucket, and they honor you, and they love you, and you love them equally, and you build these relationships. And that's what I wanted to continue to do. I didn't want to deal with the logistics. I didn't want to deal with any of that. But my best friend kept saying to me, if I write your 501 and I write a short form, it comes back in a short amount of time. Will you try? I still took another, I think it was a year. And then one day something in me said, you just need to do that. And I did. And it came back so fast that I stood there and stared at my letter of acceptance from the state of Colorado going, oh no. But I also knew it was the right thing to do. That's what we needed to do, because without that, you can't work with the people correctly. And you still have to work with their Ministry of Public Health. There's so many other legal things you need to do. I prefer to be in the dirt with the people, but that allowed us to be able to, we got a grant right as soon as we got our notification. Somebody came to me and said, hey, we want to help you start up. We were able to rent a house for 3 years, and rental there for that house was $2,500 US for 1 whole year. Wow. Bare bones, block home, no running water, no electricity. And so that's the house I live in when I'm there. And that's where we run all of our programs out of. And we have solar power. We were able to get solar panels and batteries and a cistern for water and just the things we needed to get started, so that I could be there hands-on with the people, because that's really important.
From your first visit and then setting up Espwa and making it accessible to the people in Haiti, how does access to basic healthcare change day-to-day decision-making for these families?
It's complicated, and I'll explain why. Because they live in survival mode. And so day-to-day access, the whole idea was to stop mothers and babies from dying. And how were we going to do that? So we implemented our programs just from basic care. And we brought women in, and we started doing education, basic pregnancy classes. But prior to that, we started with mobile clinics, because we were so brand new in the village. And so we would take our equipment with us, and we would go to, let's say, somebody's home, and then we would give them just a little bit of money and go into their home. And that helped them to be able to buy food for their family or whatever they needed. And then we would set up and we would have women come in and we would have classes with them. And we would talk to them about their bodies, how you get pregnant. Because something I should explain is education is not free in Haiti. And so most of the people in our area have not been to school. A high percentage have not been to school. So when we started, I'm drawing pictures. We're teaching them how to write their names so that they can see what their name looks like. Just basic things. And so giving them access to health care gives them life. So when women die and then their baby survives, who takes care of that child? In the States, it's going to look different. But in Haiti, when they say it takes a village, it does take a village. Literally takes a village. And so you have these people who are making it one day at a time to just even live. How are we going to feed our child? We really want our child to go to school because education is opportunity. And opportunity means I can get a job and then I can make a life for myself. And we get out of this cycle of poverty, right? And so a mother dies. I'll give you one example. Lovna, we call her the baby in the blue blanket. Her mother died. She was found on the side of the road. She may have hemorrhaged. The baby was alive, suckling at breast. Mother was dead. She was probably trying to get somewhere to get care. She couldn't. And she died. Lovna was taken in by a woman who claims to be her aunt, and that's not always the case. But she took her in. She couldn't feed her own children. Barely could feed her own children. Her husband was working. They have a garden. They were doing gardens, everything they could. But they took this baby in. And so basic health care for these families means saving lives of mothers and babies. That's our focus. Maternal health care, education, and job creation. Those are our primary focuses.
Wow. What a story. That had to be heart-wrenching. To see that and to experience that. Once they realized that you were providing access to healthcare, did you see any changes in the community?
The changes that we're seeing is that it opens up space, I guess mental space, because they live in survival mode, okay? They're constantly just looking to find another way to make money. So if you don't go to school and you don't get an education, you don't have a trade, you don't have a job. So then some of our mamas break rocks. They go climb up mountains, they break rocks. The rocks go down, they get them loaded into trucks. Then they get them over to market and they sell them at market because people can use them for cement. You can see the trickle effect of what happens when they're not educated. When they live in survival mode, really they're just living to feed their children. And if they can feed their children, then the next thing would be, can we get our child in school? Because education is hope.
With that being said, I'm sure you have seen the progress on the ground, being there and providing these services over the course of the years. What does real progress look like on the ground in Haiti, even when it feels slow?
Honest to God, women aren't dying and babies aren't dying. That's the truth, Gabby. That's the truth.
That's everything.
That is everything, because then you don't have these orphans who have nowhere to go. That's the stark reality of it. I could go on and on about that, but that is why we're there, so that women will not die.
Were there ever moments when you would come back and you saw the progress and it just floored you? Were there ever moments like that?
Oh, all the time, because I was in and out. I know earlier you had asked me a question. I'm so sorry. Sometimes this is just raw, and It is my life, but it doesn't mean that it's not impacting. It doesn't mean that it's not hard. It's heartbreaking to watch this play out and to think they were born there, but I was born here. But because I have the skill set and I have some resources, I'm going to share those with them. And so I'm really sorry.
All right.
So I didn't know it was going to hit me, the progress. So I would go in and out. And so I would be there for a while, months at a time. And then I would come back to the States, be with my kids. And then COVID hit. And then the gangs started coming in. And so we saw so much progress at first. We came in and moms weren't dying and babies weren't dying and families were staying together. And we were finding ways for children to get educated. And we were coming up with sponsorship programs so that people who did have the means could send children to school. And then the gangs hit. And I realized that's what happened when you asked me that question, the gangs hit. And I feel like you go in, COVID hits. You take the break, you do what you need to do, you get back into the country, and then the gangs hit. And there's gas shortages. And what do? You keep fighting, and you keep standing with them and for them.
And that's what you do. So, that's what you do. You are probably one of the most altruistic humans I've ever met in my entire life. And that's what you do. You stand and you fight. With your heart and soul. It's, if anybody's watching this right now, this is probably like just another form of Mother Teresa. She's selfless and altruistic and genuinely cares about these families in Haiti. This has got to be hard with gangs just coming in and taking over.
They do. They come in, and that's where my frustration is we made progress. You see these things happening. Children are thriving. They're learning. They're coming to our preschool programs. They're able to play, like be children and not just live in survival mode. That may seem really small, but it is everything in a country that is still developing. That is where they are right now. They're literally, when I say that, I can't say it enough. They are surviving every stinking day. And so we give them hope. We love on them. We spend time with them. We educate these women about their bodies. They go back and they share that with other women because we have so many people banging on our gates, so many women that want to come in and they want to have the same education. But we can only house so many women at a time. We can do 20, and it's a really, really small space. But it's hot. Haiti's hot. Haiti's humid. You've got all these women that are pregnant in that heat and humidity, and it's draining for them. And so we have to take 20 women at a time because we just don't have the space nor the staff because it takes more staff. It exhausts our one staff member or our two staff members who do what they do to teach our children and our mothers. And so it's a lot. And so we're just doing as much as we can with what we have.
I'm sure you've seen a variety of communities. How do the Haitian communities shape the way your programs work and give back to Haiti? And to add to that, have you seen any community members come in and be so inspired by it that they took it the next step and expanded Espwa Means Hope in services?
So really, our programs are shaped for our community. That was the whole point. We came in and we saw, Eric was our first example with his wife, and we saw what was happening. And so I spent time in the village. Literally, when I first got there, I would go and sit on one porch at a time and talk to families and just listen to them and then go to the next family. And my days were listen to the people, hear what they have to say, because this isn't your country. You're coming into their country. And so we shaped our programs based on what was happening in their community. And so, example, the sewing program, what we did is, because part of our mission is empowering women, we're not there to just give handouts. We really want to come alongside them and empower them. so these women can take care of their families and take care of their children. We do what we can with sponsorships. We have sponsorship programs, but the sewing school, it's almost like it all goes hand in hand. It's a holistic approach. That's really important to us, is that we approach this so holistically, and so they can start their own businesses. And this last round of sewing, we brought them in, we taught them how to make uniforms for the children in the school because they have to pay for the uniforms. So then they have their own business. And so we have these women come in and they bring their own materials, so their own thread, their own fabric, everything. And that gives them ownership, right? They have ownership. Yeah. They buy their own supplies and they come in, they make these uniforms, they sell these uniforms to other families in the village, and you have small businesses. And so that...
Inspiring.
It's huge. It's a huge deal.
What was it like the first time you witnessed that? Just these women finding hope and autonomy in their lives instead of being subjected to the dangers of the society.
I think it was exactly what you're doing right now. Feeling it. You're feeling it, right? And that's what it was for me, is I could hear them because my house is set on the same property that we call them depots, and they're little block rooms. And so I could look out my little block windows and see them in there. And you could hear them laughing. Oh my goodness. They are so funny. And they would come alive. And I think that I will never forget the moment that they decided to sew their own, like, adult uniforms, like these tops and dresses and different things, skirts and stuff. And they all lined up. And I was in my room at the time because our director was running the sewing program. And I hear laughter, just so much joy. And I ran out of my house and I see them all lined up and they're literally hanging over just the porch, just cracking up because they decided that they had to do a fashion show. And so they were walking like this. Oh my goodness. But they came alive. These women had so much life in them. I mean, it was crazy to watch this because you saw these women get to be women, not just mothers, not just the marchand, which is the woman who goes to market and sells. They got to be women with other women and come together and celebrate life instead of just survive.
How touching. In the United States, we have first world problems. To hear this and to just get down to the baseline of what female community is, it's this. And it's absolutely monumental. And it makes me realize how much as women, we need to get back to that. We need to get back to that level of connection and community, because there are bigger things going on in the world. You were telling me about a program that Espwa Means Hope has called The First 1,000 Days. Can you tell me a little bit more about it?
We have a program called The First 1,000 Days because we don't realize how much nutrition actually affects our brains and our development, right? And so one of the reasons we do the first 1,000 days is from conception until age 2, you're providing a child an education through helping their mother. You're educating their mother on her pregnancy and taking care of herself. Every month, we check on the women. They come in and we do vitals, and then we give them protein. We feed them protein meals when they come in for class. We do the same for the children in our preschool programs. So we give them very nutrient-dense meals to feed them so that they can have a good start. A woman is pregnant, we meet with her, and then we follow her. And the idea is to bring on other Haitian women who can come alongside as almost like a doula. In the Philippines, they use the term Mercy Kasama. And it's a woman similar to a doula who will go month to month, check on this woman, check on her progress, make sure she is eating correctly, she's checking her vitals. We do all of that. And then once the baby is born, we follow the mother and the baby. They go to their homes and they teach them, they'll bring books so that the women can actually learn, because they'll learn with their children. And it's crazy to watch this. I see this in my preschool program all the time. The women, as we're teaching the children English and Creole, the women are watching and they're reading. Our security guards are looking on, and they all work together to learn together. It's beautiful. And so if you, for the first 1,000 days, if you're providing education and nutrition, teaching them how to properly feed themselves and what foods are good for their bodies now and for their children, that makes oh my gosh, that can change a nation. And that is really why I'm passionate about the first 1,000 days, because my big word right now is gangs. You have these, and I see Spider-Man, this kid with Spider-Man mask, or an adult. And I think, if we can get them when they're in utero, and we can help the mother and provide nourishment and teach her how to care for her own body and empower her to have her own business, and then follow her once the baby is born and teach her how to interact with her child, not just survive, right? But also play with their child. Let their child be a child, because they're also learning in our preschool programs.
Let me ask you this. Right now, there's a lot going on in Haiti. And I know politically, I've been watching the news. I don't want to get too political. With what's going on right now, what makes it hardest to keep education and health programs continuous in Haiti?
Right now, one word, gangs. So, and I'll give you a quick backstory on gangs. And here is my experience. And no, do I know all the ins and outs? Absolutely not. But I will tell you this. We've been out and about and been in our cage trucks and going out and about in Haiti. And then you get stopped by manifestation, and they come around your truck and, they're beating on your truck with sticks and machetes, but they don't hurt us. They've never hurt us. That's what's interesting. Yes, things have happened, and I know kidnappings have happened. I'm aware of that. And so they come in and they don't have job opportunities. But then what happens is you have these gang members that come in and they say, hey, I can help your child go to school, and I can provide meals for your child so your child gets food. And the mother says, okay, never sees them again. This kind of thing happened. It's real life. And so these gangs right now have taken about 90% of Port-au-Prince, the capital of Haiti right now? And where we are in Haiti, we're on the coastline, and we are blocked on both sides and in the ports because the gangs have just taken over spots.
Is your staff safe? Oh, the hesitation.
Well, okay, so that is such a loaded question in my mind.
You don't have to answer it if you don't want to.
No. I actually do, because in our context, where they are, where our village is, at this moment, they are safe. Could the gangs, all of a sudden, could my phone start going off and say, this gang is at this corner and this gang is here? And so the children stop going to school, the families, they keep everybody in, and they watch and they wait. And that's a big thing. And so are they safe? I mean, they're as safe as they possibly can be, but it can happen at any moment. And that's happened twice in our area, where they came in, they tried to take over, because that's what they do. It's like a sneak attack. They come in, they try to take over, but they do have people, and they go in droves and they work together. It takes a village, and they protect themselves. They protect their families, and they will go and fight them off. And then they retreat, those with the weapons, those children in men's bodies. They go and they retreat. And then I don't remember how much later it was, they came back and they tried again. So then we have people fleeing. They're fleeing from their homes, and they're going down our street, up to the mountain, because there's nowhere else to go. Or people, when it's safe enough, people will flee to a village, and then you have several villages all in one village. So safety in the context of maybe what we would think is going to be different than how they live day to day. Does that make sense?
It does.
Okay.
To me, it's though their lives are being usurped, but they're finding a semi-safe environment. Am I correct in saying that?
100%. You know what? They're going to do everything they possibly can. That's what they do. And it's moment to moment, but they're doing it.
They shouldn't have to.
Thank you.
That's the sad part. They shouldn't have to. In this year around the world, no group of communities should have to live like this. And with that being said, you've been boots on the ground. You've seen the worst of it. And you've also seen the best and the potential of what Haiti can be. What do you think Haiti reveals about what happens when education systems collapse and healthcare collapses anywhere else in the world? Haiti has gone through so much for centuries, between the occupation of France to the occupation of the United States, starting, I think it was 1915 and ending in 1934. Haiti's gone through just ups and downs. And there's been a buildup of the educational community, a buildup of the health community, and then a collapse. And I'm sure you've witnessed this as well, especially with the gangs coming in. So what could the world watching and listening take away from what you've witnessed and what can happen when education and healthcare collapse, and what can happen when education and healthcare are allowed to thrive?
Okay. So when you don't have education, then you don't have opportunity in life, okay? And if you don't have opportunity in life, then you don't have purpose. And that is a big, big deal. That's one thing that our mamas will say to us. Our child has hope now, because if they can go to school and go all the way to get to university, they have hope, because that will change our nation by my child having an education, because then they have purpose. And I think purpose is that's a big deal, right? I mean, we all want to have a sense of purpose. We all do. We're human beings, right? And that is why we do First 1,000 Days, because you have those first 1,000 days of life that can literally change the trajectory of an entire nation just by one child at a time. And so without education, then you don't have opportunity. And if you don't have opportunity, then you don't feel like you have purpose, and then you're just surviving every day. I'm going to try to make a business charging phones for people who have phones, which sounds absolutely crazy, but it's life. I'm going to make a business, and I'm going to break rocks and turn them into sand so I can sell them. And without that, where's the hope? And that's really what I've witnessed, is watching women who couldn't read or write, barely feeding their children when they could, are now taking care of their children, taking care of their families, and they have their own businesses because we educated them. It's never too late. That's the thing. It's never too late. Do we need to start now? Yes, we still need to start now with our children. That's why we do what we do. I know that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
I know there's going to be many people listening and watching. What can people do from far away to help Espwa? What can make a difference for your organization?
I think, number one, it's going to start with awareness. And that's what we're doing right now. Raising awareness, financial partnerships, donors, going onto our website, going onto our Instagram and our Facebook, and looking at what we're doing. We get supported primarily by monthly donors, and then every once in a while we'll have a fundraiser, $150 a month for once a week to feed our mamas, just a small meal. And usually we do eggs we always go local and support the people around us. And that's the key, is that part of us being there too is supporting the people in our community, and buying all local. And so for our preschoolers, we have 15 preschoolers that come 4 days a week, and it's $100 a month to feed 15 preschoolers 4 days a week. And that's clean water, because we provide clean water and a meal. And that's something just tangible. To have people that are willing to do something like that, that's tangible, to say, I want to feed some preschoolers, I want to feed some mamas, those types of things. Just monthly support is our biggest thing, is that's how we pay our staff.
So people can donate to Espwa Means Hope by visiting Espwa Means Hope Haiti.org. And you can donate. Your funding goes towards feeding, education, helping the security guards, and doing all that is necessary to build up this community. And it's any penny, any amount of money helps.
We have birth kits, and we have people who make birth kits so that most of our women are still going to deliver at home, because we don't have the funding to pay for them to go to the hospital. And that might not be the wisest when you're talking about helping without hurting. You want to be really careful with that. And so we provide birth kits. So education, they learn about their bodies. They know what happens when they deliver their babies, because they still will do it at home, mostly in the dirt. We have a birth kit with a Chex pad and a cord clamp and a scalpel, everything you need to have a safe birth, so women are not cutting cords with broken glass, so that babies aren't getting infections and dying through the umbilical cord. Simple, basic things. So I'll have people send birth kits. Right now, because the FAA has shut down all the flights to Haiti, we work with an organization called Missionary Flights International, and that's where I get my things coming in. But we pay almost $5 a pound to get anything in. So it's very expensive. And while we source from in-country, if there aren't things available that we need, then we will have those things brought in. You can't get some of that stuff you cannot get in country. To pay for the propane so that they can cook outside. They cook outside, or to pay for the coals so they can cook. To feed our kids and our mamas, because what it comes down to is we do everything there on the campus. They cook, and so in order to cook, you have to have coals. We have to buy the goods, and some days they cost more than other days. Our security guards, paying our security guards to work 24/7 to keep us safe. Our preschool teacher, our director, who also is our trainer for the mothers, to teach the mothers their pregnancy basic classes. So
every dollar goes towards something grand and huge for the organization. And
it does.
With that said, if you're listening to this podcast, if you're watching the video, if you could donate just to help Haiti, help the women, help the children get education and food and the things that they need to sustain the community, especially during these challenging times, please visit Espwa Means Hope Haiti.org. And Angie, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for your time, for your knowledge, your expertise, your kindness, all of this. It is enlightening. It's eye-opening. It's important to think about what's going on around the world, including Haiti, especially Haiti. Do you have any last words, any final statements before we wrap up the podcast that you would like to share with my listeners and with Podcasthon around the world?
I mean, honestly, it goes back to just a reminder that we all are created for purpose. We're all created on purpose for a purpose. And each of you have your own purpose. And not one is bigger than the other. because we're created that way. It's all important. And if we all took the time to really look inside and see what drives us. I used to work with youth, and I would tell them when they say, I got to go to college. My parents make me go to college. I don't know what I want to be. And I would always ask them, what fires you up inside? And that's what I would say to all of you. What fires you up inside? Find out what that is and then go do it. And we say something all the time. One of my favorite phrases in Haiti is tipa, tipa, and it means step by step. And I want to leave you with just go one step at a time, whatever it is, because this world is hard. And there's a lot going on. We all have our purpose, and that's what it's about. Living out who you were created to be. Tipa, tipa, step by step.
You are just such a wonderful human, and it's just been nothing but an honor to have you on Math, Science, History for Podcasthon Week. Thank you so much.
Thank you too so much for allowing this opportunity.
Thank you so much for tuning in to Math, Science, History today and for listening to the interview. If you would like to make a donation, please visit Espwa Means Hope Haiti.org. That's ESPWA Means Hope Haiti.org. Donate to this incredible organization. Every single dollar you donate goes so far in helping this community in Haiti, helping pregnant women receive proper health care, and helping children receive education, and helping the community receive healthy meals. I genuinely appreciate any dollar that you can spare. Thank you for listening and for watching Math, Science, History. And until next time, carpe diem.